Hello and welcome to this channel. It might have been some time since a new video has been published, but going forward, something powerful will be happening on this channel again. This has a special reason. This year, 2022, has already had quite a few surprises, but the most impressive, most worrying, and therefore perhaps the most important of all, I will show you in this overview and in other explanatory videos. So please stay tuned. For most people, the Ukraine war certainly is the unfortunate news of this year. Many also see the crumbling economy and associate it implicitly with the fall of Babylon. Oil, gas, and wheat shortages dominate the news. Rumors of nuclear war are spreading. Palestinians and Israelis are shelling each other with missiles for the umpteenth time, and whether Taiwan will survive remains to be seen. Others have come through the COVID crisis in one way or another and fear the coming monkeypox pandemic and possible lockdowns, not to mention the freak weather. Many are very concerned about the increasingly destructive forces of nature and wonder where it is coming from. Morally, the world is also shaken. Just take the abortion issue in the US, for example. And looking into the cosmos, one remembers the old Hubble telescope and yearns for new and more tantalizing images from the shimmering golden reflectors of the James Webb Space Telescope to finally catch a glimpse of the Big Bang or God himself. But what is it that has not been noticed by the masses? Well, unfortunately, the sad fact is that not very many people follow Jesus' advice, namely to lift up their heads. Although a person can recognize that the world is heading more and more towards a catastrophe. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Luke 21:25-28. In the prophetic sea, that is Europe, there is fear and trepidation as to whether there will still be natural gas supplies for the coming winter. And fear of nuclear war is rising, slowly but surely. Is that something you can agree with? Do you see it for yourself? In the first article of the series, entitled The Bridegroom Cometh, we reported on a huge event in July of 2021 and reminded the reader of what a comet really means. To quote from the article, a mega comet, more like an asteroid, except for the surprising coma it developed, has suddenly gained global attention, and it will be around for a while. Could this be the sign of the Son of Man? According to size estimates, it is the largest comet ever seen, and Science magazine reports, according to their belief system, that it dwarfs the 10-kilometer-wide asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. It is 1,000 times more massive than typical comets. Comets have been known as harbingers since antiquity, and many Christians today are looking at comets for a sign of Jesus' return. Could this great and surprising comet, which is on course to make its closest approach exactly 2,000 years after Christ's crucifixion, be the sign of his return as King of Kings and Lord of Lords? After we had turned our attention to the largest comet ever discovered, Bernardinelli Bernstein, BB for short, and its orbit, and published our interpretations in several articles, God sent the next heavenly messenger from afar. See 2021-03 Pan-STARRS. It's telling another phenomenal biblical story. At first we thought it was only the sign of the millstone in the firmament, which in Revelation 18 is thrown into the sea, as explained in detail in the article The Maiden and the Millstone in December of 2021. But the more time passed, one realization and revelation after another came, and this comet, like Bernard and Ellie Bernstein, makes the Father's voice heard in a grandiose way as he speaks from heaven. See that ye refuse not him that speaketh, for if they escaped not who refused him that spake on earth, how much more shall not we escape, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. That's Hebrews 12:25-26. Then, on January 15, 2022, another mega event occurred that is almost ignored by the Christian world. Scientists, however, are still completely stunned by the eruption of the Hunga Tonga undersea volcano, because the eruption is unsurpassed in so many ways. Whether for the shock wave that circled the earth several times, or for the height of the ash cloud that reached into space and whose effects can still be felt, the eruption is and remains one of superlatives. Then we realized that this must be the literal fulfillment of the sign of the millstone falling into the sea. Moreover, there is an ancient vision that describes the Father's voice when he delivers the everlasting covenant at the end of time and announces the day and hour of Jesus' coming, shaking the heavens and the earth with his voice. We have reported about all this in detail in February of 2022 in the article, The Father Has Declared the Time. Since the two comets, BB and O3, entered our solar system and Hunga Tonga erupted, we have had our hands full trying to understand the Father's voice in all its meaning, fueled by the depth of realization that was being added almost daily and full of anticipation for the second coming of Jesus. We had been speculating on the timing of Jesus' return several times over the past few months. High Rapture Watch time, as it is so aptly called. Looking back, we have had to admit that at that time we knew and understood only a fraction of what God wanted to communicate to his children. Between mid-February and early May of 2022 alone, we wrote 42 articles in PDF format about all the abundance that God revealed during that time. It would be almost impossible to keep this overview video short, even if we were to give only a cursory account of all the findings. Among other things, the cross of Jesus appeared in the firmament, described in a dream as the ticket to heaven. Then the temple opened, and the Ark of the Covenant of Revelation 11 was completely depicted in the firmament. Complete means that the following must be seen: the Ark with the Shekinah glory, the carrying poles, the pot of manna, Aaron's flowering staff, the 2 stone tablets of the law, and also the covering cherubim. God also showed us where the Alpha and Omega are located and what it means for the end of times. Jesus, represented as the Lamb, came into focus with his shepherd's staff as the Good Shepherd, and God explained to us who he would lead to himself and how. After all you've seen so far, doesn't your heart yearn to read how all these Bible prophecies have been fulfilled and how God manages to present his voice in a way that vigilant people can understand? Unfortunately, those who do not look up cannot appreciate the flood of light that God is transmitting through Hunga Tonga and the paths of the comets, and therefore cannot fully prepare themselves for the final time of tribulation. After the PDF series, it took us another 15 articles until the publication of this video, until we really understood and published how God announced the day and hour on January 15, 2022, with the Hunga Tonga eruption, and with which powerful instrument God equipped us on July 16, 2022 for the final battle, namely with the Ark of the Covenant fully formed in the firmament, so powerful and mysterious. Are you a true Indiana Jones, and have you now become interested in rediscovering the Ark of God for yourself? Then please come and read. Another heavenly messenger, this time the second largest comet ever spotted, C 2017 K2 Pan-STARRS, K2 for short, appeared in the right place at the right time in the firmament, and the interaction of all the paths of the three mentioned comets allows us to see how long God's children still have to hold out until they literally see Jesus come again and are saved from the Great Tribulation. Exactly how God brought this about is probably one of the greatest mysteries spoken of in Revelation 10. I hope I have been able to give a rough overview of how we have spent the last few months. This overview is very much correct in terms of the time frame described in which we received all the progressive revelations, but the content of the light is many times greater and more glorious than is fleetingly recounted here. Spiritual gems have been poured out by God in abundance. Or in other words, the supper table literally bends because of the abundant amount of heavenly bread. I cordially invite you, come and eat. Take your fill so that you will be strengthened for the final battle. Be warned, because the Great Tribulation, which has already begun, will quickly increase and become a tribulation such as never was and never will be. You'll find links to the bakery in the video description. Stay tuned and please subscribe to our channel, because information saves lives. Please leave a like for the video, and we're delighted to receive your well-meaning comments below. Please help us to reach even more people with God's warnings.